Welcome to Synagogues of Illinois, Part 29. This episode deals entirely with Jewish houses of worship in the near north suburb of Chicago called Skokie. The first location is on Main Street and it's called Skokie Central. This congregation started out in 1959. Originally, it called itself the Congregation Hebrew Educational Alliance of Skokie and then shortly changed it to the current Skokie Central. Its current spiritual leader is Rabbi Dr. Michael Gottesman, but for 47 years prior to his taking the pulpit, Rabbi Dr. Lawrence Montrose was its spiritual leader, and is now Rabbi Emeritus. Until the past couple years, the congregation was traditional, meaning that the services were orthodox in nature except for mixed seating along with the use of a microphone. There was also a separate Orthodox service in the base medrash. A little more than a year ago, it switched to being Orthodox at all times. However, services are now limited to Friday evening and Saturday Shabbat. At one time, the building shown here was owned by the congregation. Now they just rent its usage on Shabbat and holidays. And within the next year we'll be moving to a new location in Skokie. The camera shifts a little more than a half a mile east on Main Street past Crawford Avenue to the Persian Hebrew congregation. This congregation began in the early 1900s on the old west side of the city of Chicago. It moved to this location in Skokie in the 1950s. It was originally called the Iran Hebrew Congregation, but after the Iranian Revolution in 1979 and American backlash to anything Iranian, congregational leaders opted to change its name to the current Persian Hebrew Congregation. Rabbi Shaul Hamoi has been its spiritual leader since 2008. In the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, Rabbi Nathan Weiss was its spiritual leader. Services are held at this synagogue on a daily basis, both mornings and evenings. Its prayer tradition is Sephardic and the Persian custom. The camera shifts a half a mile to the north to Dempster and a couple blocks east where we see Temple Beth Israel, a Reformed congregation. This congregation was founded in 1918 in the Albany Park area on Chicago's north side. It subsequently moved to another part of Skokie and then moved to this location in 1989. This site had previously housed the bank building. Michael Weinberg is its rabbi. Shabbat services are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. The camera turns west for about a block or so and then moves a block to the north where we see Skokie Valley Agudath Jacob Synagogue. This congregation was founded in 1956. For many years it had a traditional service upstairs and an Orthodox minyan in the basement. It now only has an Orthodox minyan in the upstairs service and rents out space to another congregation in the basement. Its current rabbi is Ari Hart, who was hired in October of 2017. It's a possibility that this congregation practices the open Orthodox version, where women are allowed selective responsibilities. Besides Shabbat services, there is a weekday morning minyan, a Marv-only minyan during the winter, and a Mincha Marv minyan during the summer. As we mentioned, another congregation rents the basement for its services. It is called Kol Sason. It calls itself Orthodox, but it is a very liberal version. There is separate seating, but women are permitted to lead selective services standing on their side of the mechitza. The congregation was formed around 2003, claims to have about 70 member families now, and does not have a rabbi. As we were on East Prairie Road, we turn around and go about a block south, just past Dempster, where we find the Young Israel of Skokie. This congregation was established in 1994. Rabbi Gershon Eliezer Schaffel became its spiritual leader in 1996 and has served in that capacity since then. The synagogue used to be around the corner on Dempster, and it moved to this location in 2014. The camera heads back to Dempster, makes a left, goes about a block down, and we see on the north side of the street the Skokie Community Kollel. We believe that currently Shmuel Oren is the lead rabbi of this Adult Education Institute. Directly next door to it is the religious Zionist headquarters. And the B'nai Akiva organization has a service here on Saturday mornings. Etched in stone above the door are the words Or Torah, as this was the original location of Congregation Or Torah, now about a half a block to the west. Here is the Or Torah campus. Its rabbi since September of 2008 is Tzvi Engel, a musmach of Yeshiva University. Besides a full slate of options for daily services both morning and evenings, there is also 3 concurrent Shacharit services on Saturday mornings, 2 in the main building and 1 in the west building, which will be coming up to view shortly. The West Building service starts a little earlier in the morning than the main services. The congregation also offers an 8 o'clock daily minyan for Shacharit for late risers. The camera headed west again, about a half a mile past Crawford, and we see here on the south side of the street of Dempster, the Lubavitch Chabad Synagogue of Skokie. The Hebrew words above the portal read, Beis Torah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, a house of Torah, prayer, and justice. The synagogue was established in 1982, and its rabbi since then has been Yosef Posner. We go further west about a half a mile on Dempster, and we come across Ezra Habonim, the Niles Township Jewish congregation. This reflects the merger between these 2 synagogues. Ezra Habonim used to be in the city of Chicago in the West Rogers Park neighborhood. It was conservative affiliated. The Niles Township congregation has been both conservative and reconstructionist. The congregation was formed in the late 1940s, early 1950s. The building shown here was dedicated in 1959. Jeffrey Weil has been its rabbi since July of 2012. He is Reform ordained. There are Shabbat services both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. There is also an evening minyan on a daily basis. The camera shifts a half a mile to the north to church and then close to a mile back east to Crawford, where sits Kehilas Chovevei Tzion, another Orthodox shul. 2 concurrent services run here on Shabbat, both an Ashkenazic and a Sephardic service. The rabbi of the Ashkenazic service is Shanan Gelman. The rabbi of the Sephardic service is Nathaniel Isaacs. For the final stop on this tour, the camera goes another half a mile to the north to Skokie Boulevard and close to a mile to the west, where we see on the south side of the street Beth HaMedrash HaGodol Keser Marv. The congregation was started in 1867 as Orthodox, and it still is today. Rabbi Louis Lazowski has been the spiritual leader for close to 30 years. Its name implies a couple mergers. In 1865, there was B'nai Jacob congregation. It merged with another congregation in 1867 and became Beth HaMedrash HaGodol Uvnei Yaakov. Independent of this operation, there was also a Luknaker shul on the west side and Congregation Keser Marv in East Rogers Park in the late 1920s. All 3 congregations merged in the 1940s. This site was established in 1994. There are still a few more synagogues in the northern suburbs of Chicago to check out, so bye for now and see you soon.